I received an email from Frances, and she was a little bit frustrated because her athleticism is going up, and she feels like the more that she works out, the more she needs soft tissue maintenance, and she's very, very limited on time. She's like the rest of us. She's raising a small family. She has her own CPA company, and she's just finding that she's running out of time. But her question to me was, what can I do to become my own physical therapist? And I thought this was a brilliant question. You have the ability, especially nowadays with all the different resources that are out there, you have the ability to, when you get home, become a physical therapist. Now, please don't take that comment out of context. I think it's incredibly important that you have a relationship with a good physio. I think it's important that you have a good relationship with a chiropractor as well as a massage therapist. I've said it in previous videos and I'll reiterate it here. Nobody's going to know your body as intimately, other than your partner, than a massage therapist, a chiropractor, and a physio. Now, for the relationship that we have here on YouTube together, what I'm always looking for is muscle patterns, and these three professionals can help us find those patterns before they become a problem. When you're using a lot of let's say you're a swimmer and you're doing a lot of freestyle and your chest gets overdeveloped, has a tendency to roll those shoulders forward, well, that's going to create a problem in between your shoulder blades, and then we get an interrelational problem. You might start feeling things in your low back, you might feel a tight hamstring, not realizing it's coming from tight pecs. Tight pecs, roll the shoulders forward, everything on the posterior chain tightens and goes north. A chiropractor, a physio, and a massage therapist can help us identify those. And when I'm working with a client that has those resources, we take the reports, we incorporate them into the strength and the flexibility side of things. That's how we avoid muscular issues, biomechanical problems. So I'm not saying that we're not even insinuating that we're superseding the knowledge and the expertise of those three professionals. When you are looking at what you do in between the visits of those physicians, of those professionals and those specialists, what we want to do is become a student on Epsom salt bath. An Epsom salt bath is going to be something that you can relax, read a book, light a candle, literally get away from anything that's digital, and just literally sit and be quiet. I want you to think about the physiology of that. You're getting the magnesium out of the Epsom salt itself. That induces muscle relaxation. Your skin is the largest organ in the body. So while you're laying in that bathtub, obviously if you can get it up to your neck, all of the surface area of your skin is absorbing that relaxing element. When you look at foam rolling, and I think people have a tendency to think that foam rolling has to be very painful and aggressive. No, use it from a therapeutic standpoint. What's pretty fascinating about the human body is it will respond to touch very quickly. So even if all you've got is 5 minutes, because if we come back to the original frustration, right? I'm tight on time, but I want to see my athleticism go up. I want to see my biomechanics when I'm sitting at the office be a little bit better. Maybe, speaking from experience with this particular client, I know that she's struggled with headaches because she's draped over a desk at a computer, and that tightens up the muscles in the back of the shoulders, and then it goes up into the back of the hairline, which is the occipital ridge. Then you've got a filament of muscle that goes over your scalp, and you end up getting a headache. So when we talk about going home and doing foam rolling, do it gentle, and obviously foam rolling is good for hitting the big muscle groups. For those of you that are sitting at a desk, even as you're watching this video, I would recommend that you have a tennis ball under the arch of your left foot and have another tennis ball on your right glute, your bum. Literally sit on the tennis ball and then swap them out. Put the tennis ball on your left glute and put the tennis ball on your right, underneath the right arch. That's a very simple form of trigger point therapy that you can do while you're at the office all day long. When you start to, you put all of those together, right? You've got Epsom salt bath that you can relax in, both mentally and physically. You've got trigger point therapy that you can do, so when you get home, you don't have to add it to your to-do list. You've already worked your glutes and you've worked the arches of your feet. You can take that ball, depending on your seat, and you can work your hamstrings. Literally, you've got the three long heads of hamstrings. Kind of get the ball in between those, move your leg back and forth, cross friction massage on it. That's why I thought this was such a great question. We don't always need to go to somebody to get it, and it also isn't as time consuming as we make it out to be. Just little tricks. So when you're at your desk, do some trigger point therapy. When you're at home, relaxing, watching TV, throw the foam roller up on the table in front of you and just work on your calves. I understand that getting down and doing your quads can sometimes be an inconvenience. If you want to invest in one of the Tapotement guns, like a Theragun, where it uses the head to do Tapotement into the muscle, that's obviously an option if you've got the discretionary funds to do so. But like anything, it's only going to work if you use it. So I don't want you to be the person that's got a multitude of tools and resources, but you're not able to use them. Why is that so important to me? Because it's just going to add to your frustration. When you don't own them, it's frustrating. When you own them and you're not using them, it's even more frustrating because you've invested the money and you're not using it. I'm just sharing with you my experience with working with athletes for over 38 years at the time of this filming, okay? So you can become your own physio in between your sessions when you're not able to get to the professionals. It's not as hard or as time consuming as you think. Just have to be creative. As always, we need to make sure that we're managing our time in a manner that allows us to get these things done. That's what I call creating a proactive schedule and then looking at what you projected to do versus what you actually did. I'll do a separate video on that in the future. Hope this video helped. As always, if you happen to have a question, send it to me. Every day here on YouTube, we're uploading a new video, and I'd love to answer your question. Send me an email at contact@coachrob.com. Please turn on the notifications. Please subscribe, and I want to thank you for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.